Boys, Joseph the Wing Bro here, coming to you from the mean streets of Santo Domingo, and we're just about to go through the gates to the old city. We're just heading in to La Zona Colonial right now. Watch out for the motorbikes, watch out for the police, watch out for los tigres, be careful. So boys, I just want to talk about a few things cold approach related in this video. If you're new to my channel, I'm Joseph. I talk about all things daytime approach, nighttime approach, relationship related. This is a dating and relationships channel. And I also teach guys the noble art of the daytime cold approach, where you cast aside the apps, you cast it all aside, mate. Just throw it all into the fucking dustbin, yeah? Go out without your phone if you want. Take them straight on the instant date. Write your email down on a piece of paper. I mean, you can take your phone as well, but yeah, it's all about just going out IRL and just meeting women out there in the street. It's a very freeing experience, and I think the reason I thought about this weekend. We're spending time with a girl this weekend, and I was starting to miss the approach a little bit. And I realized one of the things that is so great about approach is the feeling of freedom. It's a feeling of freedom. You don't quite have that same feeling often when you're just spending a weekend with a girl or a day with a girl. So yeah, I'm in a recovery phase right now. I did so much approach like this last 5 months. I'm in a kind of recovery phase right now, but I can feel that inner demon, that beast coming back. So yeah, freedom first of all, boys. Cold approach offers you just this amazing sense of freedom. You know, you penned in all day in your fucking work, and you know, you got to be careful with hobbies as well, because high achieving guys, they put a lot into their hobbies, and that can end up being its own prison as well. You know, the gym, you're so focused on tracking all your food and everything, that becomes its own kind of prison. And so, at the very least, once, twice a week, just let yourself free, boys. Let the dog off the leash. And cold approach is an amazing way to get that sense of freedom. There's not too many other ways you can feel that same visceral sense of freedom. So that'll be number one on my list today. On this walk and talk. The next thing I want to talk about is the problem of success with daytime approach, or the problem of success. But this is a serious topic, so I do want to treat it with the respect it deserves. So I had a conversation with my friends in the entourage. It's a group of guys who are very much into the whole daytime cold approach. We meet once a week online, and we're all doing our approaches and meeting chicks all over the world, kind of modern day pirate Hugh Hefner type of guys. And one of the things we had a conversation about was 70% girls. I call them 70% girls who really do have 70% of the qualities you want. They're really good quality girls, attractive, intelligent, fun, great spirit, behave well around you, but there's a 30% missing. There's a 30% missing. It's significant enough that you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. And those are the girls where deep down you know you're going to end up separating from them, because it's just not enough for you. It might be a lifestyle thing. Like in my case, I travel a lot, so for me to actually stay with someone year round, they've got to be 100. They've got to be 100%. But it might be a lifestyle thing. You're in different cities. It could be a looks thing. You know, a lot of times for us as guys, it does just come down to looks. Like, you've got a girl who's attractive. She gets you definitely horny and hot enough to fuck her as hard as you can, but you go out into the streets and you see other girls that you think physically, you know what, I'd prefer her. and that's just the brutal truth of it. I would. And the thing is, as guys who get good at approach, you actually know you could get some of these girls that you're seeing. So I remember having this conversation with a friend, and he didn't really get it. This was years ago, because I was like, yeah, what, you know, being free and single and pulling, or, you know, being in a relationship. And we were just talking about it. I was saying, I think it's better to be free and single. This was in my 20s. And he's like, yeah, but those girls that you're meeting out, that's all theoretical. I remember thinking, honestly, for me, it's not. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of, it's not if it happens, just when it happens. So, yeah, as guys who approach, you do know you can go out there and generate these options for yourself. And so the question is, if you've got a girl who's kind of half doing it for you, she's doing it for you to a point. Basically, you want a girl who's so hot that every time you see her, you're just going, fuck me, you're hot. And that should be a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. Not just like the first couple times you see her naked. It's exciting, and then you get on to, then you kind of lose an interest physically, or you're not as turned on physically. That's happened to me a little bit, a few times where I've picked a girl more on personality, self-consciously so, and ultimately I have to say it doesn't really work in the end. And so the question is, what do you do with these girls? So to get back to the main question, what do you do? She's 70%. And we were talking about this because I think it's a real topic. Once you have some success, well, the next set of problems is, okay, how do I treat the people who are in my orbit? What do I do? Do I just go for a one-night stand? Have I got to just get all my info on my first date and my first one-night stand with this girl, and then say, okay, I'll either date you or I won't? Or what do I do? Do I give it a chance? Do I run a harem? Do I date, you know, am I a serial monogamist? What a fucking city this is, by the way. I just love this place, man. It's so nostalgic. Yeah, what do you do? And you look online at the manosphere nowadays, online is a place people go. And it's like, yeah, run a harem, have 5 bitches, you know, have a rotation. It's like, okay, mate, I work 70 hours a week, yeah? You know, I've got a normal job, plus I've got extensive hobbies. I don't actually want to spend all my waking moments like dealing with like 5 or 6 different women, you know, every evening or whatever. You rotate them round. I'm not an actual sex addict, you know, I'm not a sex worker. Like one of my friends who, I remember meeting up with him, and he was talking about going to change the sheets between like one booking and the next booking of girls that were coming through. I was like, Rob, you sound like a sex worker, dude. You know, just like, yeah, if it's got to that stage, I would question, I question the other areas of your life, you know? Are you just doing this one thing at the expense of everything else? I've definitely been in that harem phase. It was something we all wanted to do about 7 or 8 years ago. It's not really very healthy. I mean, I know guys who've been running that for like 15 years. It's just like, dude, come on. Do start a business or something, you know? And so that's not a very useful solution. For most guys, it's not practical, let's be real. And even if it was practical, do you actually know the amount of skill that takes? Do you actually know the amount of skill and like emotional gravitas that takes to do? I mean, that's probably the reason to do it, to develop those things, but it actually takes skill to do that. Or just like a really not giving a fuck kind of attitude. Or just even balancing your work-life balance between having that many chicks and then actually having a job. You know, so it's not very realistic. And so it just basically, and then what else do you have? You've got the whole society, which is basically, be a good boy, you know, she's nice, stay with her. Be a good boy. Yeah? Which a lot of guys, like pretty much every guy has done this, where you get into a relationship with a girl you don't even want to be with. just because you've been with her so long, it's kind of, you've been seeing this girl so long, it's almost like it's just a kind of done thing at this point. And most of us have been in that situation. I definitely have, and more than once as well, more than once, multiple times. So you end up in something you never wanted to be in due to some kind of feeling of social pressure, you know, or the girl's pushing for it or whatever, and you cede. And so anyway, we had this conversation yesterday, and I'm just going to share some thoughts because the guys who were talking, most of them are not online, and actually there were some very interesting thoughts that were shared. And one guy said, you know, he'd done all of the above like most of us have, and one thing that actually worked well for him was just saying, if it was going to be the case that he's in an exploration phase and he knows he wants to see that out, just saying at the beginning, I am not available for a relationship at the moment, but I just enjoy spending time with you. Okay, but he says that at the beginning. And with that in mind, the girl's expectations are then set going forward. Okay, and it's a kind of take it or leave it, but the way he frames that, I think is very smart, because he's not putting it on the girl. And he's not showing himself, he's not like putting himself out there as some massive player. He's saying, I'm just not available for a relationship right now. Very, very smart, okay? He's put up the correct boundary in a way which is sensitive enough to the girl where she can tell herself a story, which is, well, he's not available right now. You know, it's nothing to do with me. And she can kind of, she's going to put the idea of other women out of her own mind if she likes you, right? That's what they do. So I thought that was a very smart solution. So that's one you can definitely take. It's one that I will be trying if I want to in the future. I'm not available right now for a relationship. And the good thing about that is you can always move from not available into now I'm available. What do you think? You can always move into that zone. And then the other question is, you know, guys have flings with girls, and then they move on to maybe a different city or whatever. Their job takes them somewhere else. What do you do with those flingy types of girls? We discussed that. And I would actually say with those, let's say you're traveling to a foreign place, you're there for a week or two, you have a fling with a girl. In that case, I would actually say don't say anything. Don't say anything to them, because let that flame just linger there, and as long as she's not completely crazy, she's gonna understand, right? She's gonna understand. She's gonna get it. You're a man on the road, right? You're here one week, gone the next. She gets it. She's enjoyed it. Yeah, don't let like the world brainwash you otherwise. Women love those short-term flings. You know, they love these pirates who come in and out. So you don't really need to say anything. You know, I think one guy was asking, you know, should I just kind of cut it off, shut it down? And I actually thought, to be honest, I would say in that case, no, because you never know, you might go back and the girl gets it, it's obvious, right? You're going to a new country. So you can just kind of leave it there lingering. You never know what might happen in the future. So your lifestyle explains itself in that case. And then the third case is situations where you're having an ongoing sexual liaison with the woman for many months, maybe even a year or two. But she's a 70% girl. But because you're enjoying spending time with her, she's hot, the sex is good. Like, obviously, and especially guys who go out to actually do proper approaching, you put in the work and effort to actually get that situation. You've actually gone out on the hunt, right? She's the catch. And so for you, it's kind of like, well, do I just want to just drop my work like that? Just let it, like, drop the reward, you know? And that's a fair question. And this is actually why these situationships happen, because guys find it difficult sometimes to actually get get the sexual access to begin with, and they might not be so keen to shack up with a girl forever, but they just kind of like, yes, damn right, I want to keep having sex with you, So I go back and forth with my thoughts on this one. This is a, should we say, a problem area that I am currently and consistently over the last few years, you just run into over and over again. And I've tried different things. Generally, my pattern has been recently is like just go for between 1 and 5 sexual episodes and then just move on. If you're not sure within, let's say, 4 or 5 sexual episodes that you're going to give it a fair shot, I personally have taken the mentality of just move on, dude. Just move on. You've had enough of these situations that become problematic. The girl gets too many feelings, and you're kind of like, yeah, I like 70% of you, but there's this 30%. It's not doing it for me. And so, yeah, that's one option, the 1 to 5 rule. I actually think for a lot of cases, anything over there, I think for a lot of cases that will sort you out, that will serve you pretty well. Like you're seeing a girl in your local city, you slept with her 3 times, it's not going anywhere. You can kind of take or leave the sex even. Just bounce, man, just bounce. Don't be lazy, just bounce, move on, and take it as a learning experience. And then the last one, which is this is why there is no real solution to this. There's no perfect solution. I'm not here offering perfection, I'm just here offering perspectives. The last one is where you do give it a genuine shot with a girl, and maybe you have some doubts, but you in any case, you give it a genuine shot. And yeah, so she becomes a girlfriend or whatever, but she's 70% of what you want. In that case there, my brother, you just gotta do it. You just gotta, just drop her off at that train station at some point, and you just wish her well, basically, or even don't. You don't. I think this is the problem with nice guyism. Nice guyism goes way beyond just approach. It even goes to the point that guys struggle to just say to a girl, look, I don't want to be with you, because they're afraid of hurting the girl's feelings. God. Why did China decide to build motorcycles? They're horrific. Smoky, disgusting, loud, all over this place. Chinese motorcycles. Get a Harley. But yeah, what do you do in that case? Like the girl, this is what I was about to say, nice guyism goes beyond, this is why I think this is an important video. Nice guyism goes way beyond cold approach, way beyond polarizing sexually. You cross those hurdles, and then the next hurdle is, right, I don't want to be with this girl, but you're too much of a nice guy to actually hurt her feelings and just basically pull the trigger. So I look, don't want to be with you anymore, not interested, goodbye. And this is something like, the way out is through this one. The way out is through this one. It's definitely something I've struggled with. It's kind of protection, right? If you feel protective over someone, there's a lot of emotion that can go into that. But at a certain point, it's just got to be done. You've just got to basically pull the trigger. So it's interesting. Yeah, let me just share a story, because I do want to be open on my channel. As I say, I don't have every answer to every situation. I can definitely teach you cold approach. If you want to know about that, go to my resource below. You get a 20-day email course on the noble art of daytime cold approach. I'm absolutely fucking legit at that at this point. But that's like 10% of what you need to know. And so for this point here, let me just share with you just a recent series of events. So when I got back into the island, I've been meeting with a girl, you can see her in my videos, and she's your classic 70%. She's your absolute classic 70% for me. And I want her to be 100%. I like her. I want you to be 100%. I wish you were 100% for both of us, for me. But you're not. You're 70%. And there's nothing. There's a realization for me. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do to make her 100% girl. It can't be done. And so, yeah, I basically said to her a few days ago, look, for me, this relationship is kind of like a good friendship with good sex. Which you think, well, isn't that enough for a relationship? Isn't that a normal relationship? And to a point, yeah, but I'm thinking, for me to take it to the next stage, to wife stage or whatever, taking it more seriously, more investment on my end, there's not enough there for me. There's not enough there for me to invest in. So we had quite an interesting chat. Obviously, by the way, if a girl likes you, she's just going to try to find ways to persuade you that this will work, right? That's what they'll do. And so we had an interesting long chat. It was almost like a preamble to a breakup. And then I actually did meet her the next day. And she kind of started seducing me a little bit, and I was like, look, I don't want to sleep with you, okay? I think, like, for legitimate reasons on my part as well, it's like emotionally, once I'm out, someone I've been seeing for a while, it's kind of like, I don't want to just sleep with you just for the sake of it now. In my own mind, it's done. And she can spin some story in her head about how she was saying, oh, like, yeah, you want to see what it's like when we just meet if we've actually got anything serious. It's kind of like, well, not really. But anyway, so we met and just had like a drink and stuff. And that is kind of going to be the last meeting with that girl, the last meeting under the situationship banner, basically. So it's almost like a breakup of two halves. There was initial conversation, and then there was just a meeting where there was no sex. And the next contacts you'll get from me will be, I'm going my own way. So yeah, for me, it's like that's always been something I've been uncomfortable with good girls who are actually good to me. Girls who have, like, you know, they're narcissistic or they're pieces of shit or whatever, you realize they're not actually a great person. I've got no trouble getting rid of those. I take great joy in getting rid of them. But the girls who are really good girls, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And yeah, it's like Gabriel Garcia Marquez said, like, forget about the AIDS crisis. Love has always been the most dangerous game out there. It's a dangerous fucking game. Yeah. So yeah, so those ones, I think a lot of guys struggle with this, and this is why I wanted to just open the conversation here. A lot of guys struggle with breaking it off with girls who they realistically know are not the right for them. Actually, and some guys even, like, where the girl has an obvious conflict of values with you, like she's woke and you're conservative, that's never gonna work. Like, she's gonna annoy you until you break up with her. Girls, like, situations like that, I mean, to me, that's not even worthy of any type of long-term dating. And the more approach you do, the more you realize, like, the caliber of girls that is actually out there. And so these 70-75% girls, you start to meet them, and it's like, wow, shit, I've even got to leave this one. Yeah. But it is for the greater good. It's the greater good for yourself and ultimately for her as well. You're both wasting time beyond a certain point. So yeah, interested to know. This is probably a smaller subset of viewers. How people are approaching this, how they're dealing with the women, how they're letting the women down. Are you doing it bluntly? Or are you doing it directly? Or are you doing it gently? Is that working? Or are they not getting the picture? Or are you just staying with someone out of politeness, which I think a lot of guys fucking do, or out of desperation? Just let me know. Just let me know in the comments. This one, I'm just genuinely interested to hear people's thoughts. I actually just want to start a conversation. Hopefully some of my friends will also continue this dialogue as well. As I say, I'm not giving you a prescription here, I'm just sharing perspectives. Maybe in a couple of years, I might have the right answer 100% of the time on this one, but right now I don't. So hopefully this has been useful to you boys, and hopefully you've enjoyed the little stroll around Santo Domingo. What a place this is. What a city. I'm just resting right now, like I've been seeing this one girl, and just getting back to work. I've not done any street approaches at all for the last 3 weeks since I've been here. But soon the Caped Crusader will be out again. I'm just in Bruce Wayne mode at the moment, but I'll be back out. I'm gonna give it about another 10 days to chill, and we'll start hitting it again, enjoying the streets again. So Josefsky signing out from the first capital of the Americas. There's a statue of Christopher Columbus there. Christopher Columbus crossed the fucking ocean, the Atlantic, with 0% guarantee he was even going to survive. Yeah, with like 60 men on board. Yeah, that he was attempting to guarantee their safe passage as well. Right, across the sea on a wooden fucking boat. Yeah, no sat nav, no navigation, just a pointy thing at the stars. Boys, I think we can handle, you know, modern dating. I think we can handle a cold approach. Like, these were our ancestors, boys. So, you know, let's not let them down.